Just saying.
No one else you were just saying.
Oh yeah, we're going hard on this one. We're basically correcting extra time, right? That's the main idea of this episode. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Designated Players Podcast. We got the board back, so you can see it's season 3, episode 2, top 5 at each position. It's an extra time staple. It's a staple of the Designated Players Podcast. We love our guys at extra time. They're great. But man, do they miss the ball when it comes to things like this.
Are you trying to tell me you don't agree with Ryan Hollingshead being the best left back in the league?
Among other things, Ryan Hollingshead is not the best left back in the league, mainly because he's a striker. But we'll get to that. Actually, no, there's a note here for Adam for when he comes and watches this. Our Hollingshead is not a striker. No.
It must be a different R. Hollingshead because the Ryan Hollingshead I know is a striker.
So we're going to try and keep this short, sweet, and not yell at Connor too much. However, what I will say is that any tie or disagreement that we have, I will win because I have stats and he does not. So
need stats, just vibes.
Don't need stats, just vibes. Podcast 101. But before all that, as we always do, why don't we go ahead and dive into Scarf of the Week? And I'm going to go first because you went last week.
Go for it.
We're talking about top 5 players in each position, so why not get a scarf that represents a lot of people who are going to be on this list? Nashville SC, baby. I love this scarf. It's one of my favorites. I love the design.
Music nice. It's a really nice one.
Music City, man. I love it. It's great. And still got the tag on it. I don't take tags off. I don't know why.
Because you probably plan on returning them, you fake fan.
No way.
This one's just for you, MLS Gone Wild, if you're listening. Just because you made fun of him for not having one. 2020 champions.
Nice.
We'll
have to clip that and tag them.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'm going to get one next year that says 2022 MLS Cup champions, and then I'll have the Red Bull logos on the side. It'll be great.
Oh, that'll be a nice custom-made one.
All right. We are going to try and keep this as short and sweet as we can. So without further ado, Connor, how was your weekend? No, I'm just kidding.
Have you warmed up the vocal cords? Are you ready? I'm ready to hear you shout it. I'm here for it.
Let's dive in to the goalkeepers. I guess the way that we did this last year and the way we can do it is we'll go ahead and read our list down. And if there are any like glaring obvious ones, like if I have Andre Blake 1 and Connor has him 2, it's not really an argument unless he puts Kenneth Vermeer at 1, even though he is at 1. But the real conversation is going to be had like if you leave somebody obvious off. Hani Mukhtar, for example. If you didn't put Hani Mukhtar in there, you get yelled at.
Yeah, that's fair.
So and you know, if we have 1 versus 5 or things like that, we can talk about that too. But for the most part, we're just going to try and agree. Right? We're gonna be friends. High five.
Yeah.
My 5 through 1 for the goalkeeper position: Tyler Miller at 5, Matt Turner at 4, Coronel at 3, Joe Willis at 2, Andre Blake at 1. I think Andre Blake probably deserved goalkeeper of the year last year. He had a lot of really good, won off the Golden Glove with 12 clean sheets, 0.92 goals against per 90 minutes, one of the best ratios in the league. Actually, the best, if I remember correctly, with 73 saves. Coronel and Willis both have 13 clean sheets for the Golden Glove, 0.97 goals against average, over 80 saves. Matt Turner was good, but he had some really bad stats that hurt him on my list. 1.25 goals against per 90, 5 clean sheets for the goalkeeper of the year. Yikes. And then Tyler Miller, 1.13 goals against per 90, 98 saves, and 11 clean sheets. My honorable mentions: Maxime Crepeau and Jonathan Bond. I love me a bit of Jonathan Bond. Thoughts?
Right, so we're starting off with bad lists, is what I'm hearing.
Jesus, here we go.
Go ahead. I'll say for my lists, I'll just say this now. I pretty much didn't include players that I don't expect to play this season in MLS. So Matt Turner, for example, I don't have on my list because he's going to Arsenal. And I think like Tati Castellanos, I think he's gone. So I didn't include him either. My list would change if I were to include these guys. And if they end up not leaving, then obviously my list would be rearranged. But I'm just going to say this now. Matt Turner at 4. I know statistically speaking, he wasn't like the top guy last year, but this dude is really good. Like he won the Supporter Shield record number of points. He's constantly in and around the men's national team picture, and you have him 4th. You're insane.
For the guy who uses the most obscure stats to put random goalkeepers at the top of whatever list we're making, you're now just going to say stats don't matter.
He's third in it.
Stop it. Stop it. I'm not doing this. You don't get to flip-flop whenever it doesn't match your opinion, Connor. Stop it. You either go with stats or you don't.
If I am going with stats, Turner was 3rd. He was 3rd in the stat that I use.
Oh my God. Okay, so you want to move him up 1?
He should be number 2.
Oh my God. Go on. Who else is in your list?
My list. Again, I didn't include Turner because I don't.
So you're yelling about a guy that's not even on your list. Stop it.
Because he's going to be starting goalkeeper for Arsenal. I don't know what do you want me to do?
You're throwing a fit over something that doesn't matter.
All right, my top 5. Tyler Miller 5, Joe Willis 4, Maxime Crepeau 3rd, Carlos Cornell 2, and Andre Blake 1st.
Okay, so here's what I'll say. Joe Willis, I have a note next to his name. The single most underrated goalkeeper in MLS, bar none. He had a Golden Glove, 96 saves, which is equal to your boy Matt Turner, and 0.97 goals against average, which is tied for 4th lowest in the league. All with a Nashville team that went 2nd in the league last year.
No, I don't think so. Were this?
Yeah, because Red Bull at 7 played them in the first round.
Yeah. Okay.
Did they? Or did we play Philly? No, we played Philly.
No, you played Philly. Philly was 2nd.
Philly.
Nashville was 3rd.
Regardless, they were up in the top of the East for however many months, and you're going to drop him to 4. Now, I appreciate you putting Carlos Cornell over him because he's a GOAT, but Crepeau over, and I know you're high on Crepeau, but
I agree with you that Willis is underrated, but I do think some of his stats definitely are a benefit of a very like structured, good defensive team in front of him. You know, having a very solid back line with the MLS Defender of the Year. You have an MLS veteran in midfield and Dax McCarty, who's a very good defensive player, even getting up there in age. Whereas like Crepeau, for example, was playing with Florian Youngworth in front of him and was getting them into the playoffs. I mean, I think
sure
not to go back to it again.
Goals. He didn't need to worry about it.
Not to go back to it again, but my favorite stat, Maxime Crepeau was the top player in the league in that stat. And I mean, he had good numbers outside of that.
Now we're going back to stats that don't matter.
Okay, but outside of that one too, he had the 4th highest save percentage. I know his clean sheets were low, but I think that's again in part of the fact that Vancouver's defense was not nearly as good as Nashville's defense or Red Bull's defense. So I think Crepeau and Cornell are ahead of Willis. I still think Willis is a top goalkeeper, and hence why he's on my list. But I just think that those two are slightly better.
Okay.
All right, we've already waffled way too long.
Really good start on making sure we do this short and quick.
This was supposed to be an easy position too. Like this one,
literally. I made the comment when we were prepping this. I go, these positions are easy, and you're still going to find a way to mess it up. Right back's probably going to be another good example of this. I hope you move people around.
I did. I moved some things around.
Good. All right.
You'll be happy.
So let's start right back. A little disclaimer: my right back and my left back were above 50. Everybody was above 15 appearances.
Okay. I don't know. Appearances were tough because sometimes they classify these guys as playing in weird positions.
Yep, absolutely. I get it.
All right. So my top 5 list for right backs. At 5, I've got Alistair Johnston. At 4, Aaron Herrera. 3, Julian Gressel. 2, Brandon Bai. And 1, Julian Araujo.
Smart boy. Just a disclaimer, he had Julian Gressel 1.
Yeah. Well, I did this at midnight last night.
Rev 1.
I did this at midnight last night. There was a reason I was sleeping on it. But
Um,
my honorable mentions were Brooks Lennon and Andy Nahar.
Man, I think you're higher than on Andy Nahar than most people, but
He had a really good rating last year. I don't watch
uh,
enough DC to say from just watching, but
okay.
he had good numbers.
Julian Gressel at 5 for me. Brooks Lennon at 4. Alistair Johnston at 3. And this is because I think he's going to excel better in Montreal than he will in Nashville. Brandon By at 2. Julian Arujo at 1. So I think our top 2 were the same.
Yeah.
Good. Julian Arujo is an absolute stud, by the way. Statistically, for a nerd who has numbers,
he's so
absolute stud. It's not even close. Brooks Lennon, I think, is going to succeed again with the attacking role that he's going to be in with Almada and Yosef and all these really high attacking players. I think he'll succeed really well in there. Julian Gressel defensively really poor, which led to DC's inability to make the playoffs last year. My honorable mentions, Aaron Herrera, who is number 1 on Extra Times list. I don't watch enough RSL to know.
He's a good player. I think,
and I agree. I think he's good, but the way that RSL were last year, I'm not putting somebody from RSL.
He was in the playoffs.
Barely. And Alex Roldan as well. I think right back on Seattle has to be.
That one hurts you a little bit, doesn't it?
Alex Roldan?
Yeah, putting Alex Roldan on the list.
Not really.
No? I thought you were not an Alex Roldan fan.
No. I'm not. It's not like the way you are with Tim Ream. Like, I don't mind Alex.
I have no qualms with Tim Ream.
We need Tim on the podcast. We need you to confront your hatred.
I don't have a hatred for Tim Ream.
So I think we're relatively close on that. I'm not gonna, I'm not too upset with that. I think you're a little. I'm okay with how low you put Johnston. I think I'm a little higher on him than most people. And it really depends on if you're looking for a defensive or an attacking player with your, Julian Gressel location. So yeah. I think we're pretty good on that.
All right, CBs, let's go. Lead us off.
So from 10 to 1, Austin Aaron Trusty, Antonio Carlos. We're doing 10, by the way, because 2 center backs in a team, right? Austin Trusty, Antonio Carlos, Jonathan Mensah, Sean Nealis, Miles Robinson, Andrew Fontas, Alexander Cayens, Jack Elliott, Walker Zimmerman, and at number 1, Yamar Gomez Andrade. We talked about the fact that there are 2 people tied for MLS goalkeeper of the year in clean sheets. There was a third one, his name was William Yarborough. That dude cannot play goalkeeper well at all. And Austin Trusty is the reason he had 13 clean sheets. That's what I'll say. Antonio Carlos, I thought Orlando played really well, and he was kind of in the middle of that. I wanted to put him in there. Jonathan Mensah is a stalwart in this list. He's consistently a top 10 center back in the league until he retires. Sean Nealis with a breakout year last year really was a key piece to that New York Red Bull run to the playoffs. Miles Robinson performing really well for the national team and holding down a very weird Atlanta back line last year. Andrew Fontas was the rock in a Kansas City team that I think gave up joint least amount of goals last year, or very, very close to it. Alexander Cayens, MLS Cup champion center back, and was absolutely class. One of my favorite. It hurts me to say this, but he's one of my favorite center backs in the league. Jack Elliott, only because I will not put Jakob Glesnes anywhere near any of my lists for the rest of my life. Walker Zimmerman,
personal thing.
Not personal at all. Walker Zimmerman, defensive player of the year. Got to put him high. Yamar Gomez Andrade, statistically, much like Julian Arujo, an absolute monster. Honorable mentions to Kessler, Chanot, and Dabasi in Minnesota.
I'm just going to say this now. I think you are way too high on Fontas.
Okay.
That's. I mean, to each their own. You got your own opinion, but I
Where
think
do you have him?
He's an honorable mention on my list. Also, I think Miles Robinson at 6 is pretty low.
Oh, no.
He was a finalist for Defender of the Year for a reason. I mean, even just looking at your stats,
Yeah, because we play for the
he's
men's
got-
national team.
but I'm looking at your stats that you put on here. He's got better stats than Fontas and Cayens.
Okay.
So why is he sixth? Okay, I'll give you Cayens because he won a championship. Why is he behind Fontas?
Because Fontas, how many goals did Atlanta give up last year?
You can't blame them all.
I
And
definitely listen. If you're going to be the rock and the center back, I definitely can.
I don't blame Miles for that. There was a lot of turnover in that
Of
back
course
line.
you don't. That's okay.
All right, let me just go through mine because I'm sure you're
Please.
gonna have
I'd
plenty to
love
say.
to.
All right,
Listen, at
number
least I didn't
10.
put Aaron Long on here.
I didn't put Aaron Long. I can't say anything about him. I feel like he's barely played over the last 2 seasons. All right, number 10, Jacob Glesnes, just to piss you off. 9, Sean Nealis. 8, Aaron Austin Trusty. 7, assuming he's here this season, I'm putting Alan Franco there. 6, I'm putting Nathan. 5, Cayens. 4, Jack Elliott. 3, Robinson. Actually going to do 2 as Walker Zimmerman, and number 1 as Yamar. I am open to moving some people around. Like I would definitely be. You know what? Actually, I'm going to switch Jack Elliott ahead of Robinson. I think Robinson should be 4.
That's probably close. I'm okay with that. Nathan's a good shout.
It was a small sample size last year, but he looked really good.
Right. And that's my issue is it was too small of a sample size. I probably could have put him as honorable mention, but I decided, go with what we know. Just a heads up, extra times top 5, Walker Zimmerman, Yamar, Alexander Cayens, Miles Robinson, and Aaron Long.
They were so close to having it decent.
Yeah, that Aaron Long one is.
How do you put Aaron Long ahead of Jack Elliott? I don't understand.
Listen,
all right, anyway.
I love Aaron. Aaron's great. I hope he comes back and him and Nealis work really well together and we go win MLS Cup. But he didn't play last year. How can you tell me he's gonna come back and be the 5th best center back this year? Also, I really like Dallas may not have a lot of players we know, but their Twitter admin, very good. Best left. They tweet a picture of Ryan Hollingshead and go best left back in the league, and then there's an asterisk, and then underneath it goes according to the esteemed MLS podcast extra time. They know. They know.
Is it not to? I'll just cut this part out. But isn't the Dallas admin from Comac?
No.
I forget what his name is.
Ty?
Who? I forget who is running the account. Oh God, I don't even know where I'd find his Twitter. Okay, we're back.
All right. So after that complete tangent, that did absolutely nothing. I think the only people that we talked about, Miles Robinson, higher or lower. You think Fontas should be completely out? Antonio Carlos, did you have him in there?
He's on my honorable mentions.
Okay, I'm okay with that too. I don't think there's too many arguments here.
Yeah, I could definitely see Fontas being in this list, but I'd still probably keep him lower.
Yeah, like I said, the extra time guys were real high on him last year, and I tend to trust those guys when they tell me that Ryan Hollingshead is the best left back in the league. I mean, how can I tell them no, right? Especially as we move into left backs, look at that transition.
Yeah.
Especially when Claudio Bravo won our first annual DP Pod Outside Back of the Year award last year.
Is that a transition into the left back position?
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
Whoosh. So my top 5, George Bello, if he's here.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not here, Ryan Hollingshead. Daniel Lovitz at 4, DeJuan Jones at 3, Kai Wagner at 2, Claudio Bravo at 1. A lot of people, and I'm already ready for it, are going to tell me that Kai Wagner should be 1 by a mile. I'm a numbers guy. Claudio Bravo, like, worlds ahead. Like, it's not even close.
Yeah.
the most crosses blocked. He had 1.5 tackles more per game. Every 2 games he was making 3 more tackles. The only thing Kai Wagner did was really good going forward, and Claudio Bravo can improve that for sure. But for the most part, he was right around where all the other people were. Kai Wagner was just kind of crazy. Daniel Lovett's got to show some love for my Nashville boys. 1.4 crosses completed, 63% tackle success rate. DeJuan Jones, we love a good 4th-round draft pick. Winning supporter shield, 75% tackle success rate, about a cross per game. If George Bellows here, he was okay. Obviously can get much better, but if he wants to go, I will put Ryan Hollingshead on there simply for Adam.
I will say off the bat that I think you have done your boy Andrew Gutman pretty dirty there. I mean, he was very good for you guys last season.
I don't know if he's going to play.
If Bellows gone, he is.
It's not done yet. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there.
I know, but you're saying if Bellows gone, you're gonna put Ryan Hollingshead ahead of Gutman here to replace Bello on the list.
Yep, because I don't know if Gutman fits into that system well.
Doesn't matter. It's such a Red Bull mindset. Who cares about the system?
Oh my God, he's a Red Bull. He's a Red Bull. He knows.
All right. Anyway, my list isn't a ton different. I have Chase Gasper at 5. I have George Bello at 4, DeJuan Jones at 3, Kai Wagner at 2, and then Claudio Bravo at 1.
Oh, you did Daniel Lovett so dirty.
He's in my honorable mentions.
I know he is, and Gasper's in mine, but I think I'll take Lovett over Gasper any day of the week. And when Lovett was in Montreal, bottom, did not like him at all. Move him over into Nashville, and he's thriving. So that tells you how much.
That's fair. I can be on board with switching him, but
okay. We're gonna do Twitter posts with our top 5s or top 10s. So keep an eye out for those, and we'll work on you can tell us how it goes in the comments or whatever. But I'm glad we're relatively close on that. Good job.
Okay.
All right. So the center mid CDM spot was really tough because when we get our stats, who scored is not great at separating 8 versus 6. So we just grouped them together and did a 2-person kind of, if we're doing a 4-3-3, it's like 2 center mids, one kind of holding, one kind of not, because we can. It's our podcast. It's my podcast. Connor's just coming along for it, but we can do whatever we want, and you're going to deal with it. So my top 10, and this is really not in any order now that I look. Actually, Connor, you got to go first, so I can change my list.
All right, let me go in order. I think we're gonna have some differences here.
I'm sure we will, but I won't cry over it.
Yeah, we'll see about that. All right, so number 10, I've got Gaston Jimenez for Chicago. I do think sometimes he plays center back. No, actually, no. I think when I looked, he was playing defensive mid for the most part last season. So he should definitely qualify for this spot. 9, I got Kellen Acosta. I think Kellen Acosta is going to be in for a very strong year with LAFC. And I think that he is underrated because I think a lot of times people will group him into that MLS midfield group that people love to complain about that makes the USMNT. So Leggett, Ewell, Roldan. But I feel like Acosta's kind of earned his spot there. When he gets appearances with the men's national team, he puts in a shift. I mean, he works hard. He's a solid player out there. So I expect more of the same this season for him. 8, I've got Keaton Parks. A little bit forward looking with this one. I think with the loss of James Sands, it's now Keaton Parks' time to step up. He's going to be that main defensive mid. We've gone through the NYCFC cycle now. Alex Ring to James Sands, and there has been now passed down and bestowed upon Keaton Parks. So
downgrade. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but Alex Ring, best center defensive mid in the league. James Sands, most promising center defensive mid in the league. Keaton Parks.
Keaton Parks was good for them last season, though, so I got some expectations for him.
I'm not saying he's going to be bad, but just here.
Well, we'll see. 7, I got Diego Chara. 6, I got Leon Flock. 5, I've got Jose Martinez. 4, I don't know if he qualifies or not. Just depends on where you want to put him positionally, but I put Christian Roldan here. More so as like an 8, obviously, but he kind of plays all over the place. 3, I put Jack Price. 2, I put Alex Ring, and 1 was the easiest one for me. It was Sao Paulo. And then my honorable mentions were Darlington Nagbe, Gregory, and Sean Davis.
Okay.
But my list, outside of number 1, my list, I'm definitely open to hearing things and possibly moving things around. But
I've got my 1 and 2 are joint because one of them is a CM and one of them is a CDM. And because we're kind of doing that split, I will flip either one of them. It doesn't matter, but they're like my top, like if we were to split this in half and go 6, 8, they'd be 1 on both of them. So I'll start with my honorable mentions. I like the Kellen Acosta shout. I kind of slipped my mind. Everything you said about him was really good. I also put Ryan Raveloson in there at Galaxy. He was probably one of the better players coming out of there. And with the whole revamp, I think he'll have another strong season. Matt Polster, center mid at New England, winning the Shield. He does the quiet work for you. Keaton Parks is also in my honorable mentions. And of course, you can't forget our Lord and Savior, Tommy Mack.
Tommy Mack.
You can't forget
Tommy Mack.
He may never play another minute, but he will be a top 10 center mid.
He has the all-time points record in MLS history. He's a part of it.
Yeah, you can never take that away from him.
You can't. No, he's in the record
until somebody else takes it away from him.
But then he'll be on the team for that team. No
he
problem.
He'll follow it.
Yeah.
So my number 10 is Darlington Nagbe. And again, this, I'm really open to moving this because this was kind of like, it depends on what you prefer. Are you more defensive? Are you more kind of in the middle? Because I don't have a lot of stats for this position because, how are you going to compare 2 different kind of styles, right? So Darlington Nagbe does a lot of the quiet work that you don't see. I will take him over any of my honorable mentions any day of the week. Sean Davis at 9, same deal. Breaks up a lot of the play, gives it up, doesn't do much from there. Diego Chara at 8. Gaston Jimenez at 7, because I think Chicago are going to be better this year. Like, significantly better. I think he will be a much better CDM. Gregory is my number is 6. I think he is the only breathing, living person in that Inter Miami team that did anything half decent last year. So I'll take him all day long. Leon Flock at 5, Ring at 4. I don't love Ring at 4, and I'm really open to bringing him down. Yes, he's one of the best in the league, but I'm open to having him drop a little bit. Jack Price at 3, and then this is my 2-1 that it's not really that I think 2 is number 2 in this list. It's that they're both 1, and I can't have a 1 and a 1A. João Paulo at 2 and Jose Martinez at 1. I love watching Jose Martinez play every day. I think he is just absolutely class. He is Tyler Adams from Venezuela. That's what he is. He's just absolutely class. It's so much fun to watch him play as a 6 because he does the dirty work. He gets up and he can make runs with the ball. He can just drop it off and let somebody else do it. He's really, really class. I like a lot about what he does. But yeah, so I can drop Ring lower. I can swap out I don't want to put Keaton Parks there because what you mentioned, where it's his job, I'm curious to see if he can do that job. And again, at Yankee Stadium, when all you have to do is this and you're touching both sidelines, he'll be successful, sure. But if he's playing in a single pivot, does he have the range? If he's playing a double pivot next to Gideon Zalalam, does he have the ability to cover both? I don't know. So that's my list. What do you think?
Let me make a case for you for a Ring really quick, not to waffle on again, but Austin's bringing in Valencia this season, who I think will be their more outright number 6, who's just going to do the dirty work and clean up. I think that allows Ring for this upcoming season to obviously still be able to track back and play defense, which we know he's very good at, but also to go forward because I feel like Ring potentially could offer like some more going forward for Austin. So I feel like we're going to see a more well-rounded Alex Ring this season. I don't know for sure if he can go forward or not. That's kind of I don't know if we've really had that opportunity to see that from him, but I just think the potential's there. I think he's obviously super talented in this league, and he seems like he's going to be more of the focal point this season rather than having to sit back and do the dirty work. So I definitely am a little bit higher on him this season than other people are, which is why he's like so high up on my list. But that's just kind of making my own case for Alex Ring.
Let me make a counter case. I know we don't want to waffle on. For every tackle that he made last year, he got dribbled by the next time. He has a 50% tackles percent rate. So he's in the right system, he's a good defender. At Yankee Stadium, where he only had to cover X amount of ground, he was a very good defender.
And that's what I'm thinking this year. He has more opportunity in those situations where he can be dribbled by because now they have Valencia who can back it up and be like, okay, you got beat in this situation. Let me help clean it up.
That's if they go double pivot. They might do a 4-1-2.
Yeah, you're right. They may not go with the two of them. I think they should.
Sure. No, I don't disagree. But let's move on before we get sidetracked.
I mean, we're doing fine on time.
Actually, yeah, time-wise, we're all right.
We only got a couple of positions left, but these positions might be a while. There's a lot of talent here.
Center attacking mid. I'll go with my honorable mentions first. Chofis Lopez in San Jose. I think he's still here. They brought him back, right?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah. If not, he's not on my list. He's just an honorable mention. So Reynoso did not make my top 5. Rusnak did not make my top 5 because I'm not sure where he fits in with Seattle yet. And Pereira just missed out from Orlando. So my top 5, Pozuelo, if he comes back fully healthy. If he doesn't come back fully healthy, it's a flip-flop with him and Pereira. Just want to put this asterisk out there. Do some post-editing or whatever. Mihailovic at 4, Zelarayan at 3, Carlos Hill at 2, and Hani Mukhtar at 1. Anybody who says Hani Mukhtar didn't deserve MLS MVP is no longer allowed to speak about MLS.
Yeah, for the most part, my list is pretty much the same.
This was the same thing last year. Our plans were pretty dead on.
It's pretty for the most part, it's pretty set who the top center attacking mids are. But there's definitely some give and take there. I'm gonna run through my list and then I have a question for you. So at 5, I put Rusnak at 5. I put Pozuelo at 4, Zelarayan at 3, Gila at 2, and then Mukhtar at 1.
Oh, you did Jordy so dirty.
Well, here's my question for you. Calm down.
I will fight you.
I want you to make the case for me to swap out Rusnak for Jordy.
Okay.
A lot of my reasoning for putting Rusnak there at 5 was based off the season that he currently came off of, where he was super, super strong.
Okay. In a Montreal team that was really not great, 4 goals, 14 assists. Albert Rusnak in a RSL side that was
really not great.
11-7. Okay, but here's the other point. Where does he fit in Seattle? Because you've got Nico Ladero already. You've got João Paulo. You've got Morris on the wing. You've got Rui Diaz up top. Are you going to play him as a left wing? You think he's going to be that successful over there? I don't know.
It's Seattle, though. If any team's going to figure out how to utilize him well, it's Seattle.
He played to be fair, 9 games I'll call it 16 games for RSL at the left wing spot, had 5 goals, 3 assists. So he'd be successful there, but would he be an attacking mid at that point, or would he be a winger?
Well, like you said, I don't really have an option right now. I don't know where he's going to end up playing for Seattle. So at the moment, I
Right.
kind of have to go with where he currently is.
Nope, for sure. No, I think if you're gonna drop anybody for Rusnat or for Mihailovic, it's Pozuelo because you don't know if he's coming back 100%.
I get that. That's fair. But Pazuello, when he was at his best, is in that mix with the top three.
I hear you. I hear you.
And now even more so, he's gonna have a lot more eyes shifted away from him because everybody's gonna be looking at Insigne. So
Or is somebody going to say, okay, stop, don't worry about Insigne. Don't let Insigne get the ball by stopping Pozuelo first.
I guess it depends on how they play Pazuello. Are they gonna play him more like a striker or more like a midfielder?
Right. And if Giovinco, there's a whole bunch of things that we don't know about, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of ifs.
Yeah.
I can definitely understand in that case why you would put Jordy because that's a bit more set in stone. Like Jordy is the playmaker for that team in the midfield. You know where he's going to play. So I can understand that. I'm going to stick with my top five, but
I'm going to stick with mine.
I think in terms of honorable mentions, let's just see if the only other person I added on there was Ryan Gauld.
Oh, I like Ryan Gauld. That's a good one.
All right, so
I like Gauld. I like the Gauld pick. I think Vancouver is going to be slept on this year because Ryan Gauld is not in that list. But I'm a fan of that one. I like that.
Yeah.
Move into left mid, left wing.
Sure.
This one shouldn't be too hard. There's not a lot to compare.
I guess it's just a question of where you place guys. Like, did someone play enough times on the left or the right to justify putting them on that list?
If I sorted on whoscored.com and said left wing or attacking left center mid, and they popped out over 15 appearances, they made the list. Which is probably why I didn't see Randall Leal the first time. Had to go back.
All right, so who's kicking it? You want me to kick it off?
You are in charge.
All right, so this is I know you already know about this, but this was the one position that I made my exception on. So I'm sure you'll figure it out eventually. But at 5, I had Franco Fragapane. Okay. At 4, I had Randall Leal. 3, I know we're gonna differ on this one. I put Marcelino Moreno here. I know that he was more of a cam, a little bit more of a cam, but he made appearances on the left wing enough that I can include him. 2, I have Daniel Shallowy, and 1, of course, Lorenzo Insigne, because I fully expect him to be the best player. Even if he's here for half the season, I don't care. He's gonna be the best player on the left.
All right, here's the deal. I will not put a player who is going to be playing
Fine, I'll take him off.
15 games.
I'll take him off then. I'll move everybody up 1.
You do whatever you want. I am
And then
not in
at
control.
5,
you are living in a free society where you can do whatever you want. But I myself,
5, I'm going to put Christian Dijome.
I will not sit here and say that somebody who's going to play 12 games in a season after he gets acclimated and gets his visa and gets all the COVID stuff cleared out, which will probably be still around. I will not sit here and listen to that nonsense.
All right, who's on your list?
So it seems like Leal played more on the right, but
it doesn't matter where they played the most, as long as they played like a decent amount there.
Yeah, he'll be on the left simply because we have nobody else. My first honorable mention is Pedro Santos. Kind of going all the way down, which kind of sucks. He was pretty good. Diber Caicedo at 5, Fafa Pico at 4, Grace May screaming at 3.
Underrated Grace May screaming. Very underrated. I can't believe it's only at 3. Come on now. Andrew is now yelling at his dog, as he does. I will add in my honorable mentions in this brief time while Andrew is busy being a father of one. I put Ramel Kyoto in there. I think that's definitely a sleeper left wing pick here. I included Sebastian Blanco, who I think a little bit
Is he
worried coming
officially
back from
back yet?
injury. What?
Is he officially back? Did they resign him?
I thought they did. Yeah, I thought they re-signed him. Maybe I'm wrong. And then I put Robin Lod as my last honorable mention.
I'm full on the Minnesota anti-hype train right now. So
So sorry, Robin.
um
I don't think they've officially re-signed him yet, but he's just an honorable mention anyway. So
yeah, they're still working on the contract there. So to go back to mine before Grace rudely interrupted us, but it's okay because she's adorable. Diber Caicedo at 5, Fafa Pico at 4, Fragapane at 3, Randall Leal at 2, Daniel Shallowy at 1. No, I will not put Insigne there. Did you not have Pico?
no, I didn't have Pico.
11 goals, 4 assists. Best dribble success rate out of everybody except Caicedo. What more did you need to put him on there?
A team that didn't finish bottom of the table.
He's the only person who was breathing in the attacking third for them.
Which is why he got all the goal contributions, because somebody had to do it.
You don't
Also,
just because you're the best player on a bad team does not mean you're not a good player.
didn't Dibar Caicedo play more on the right? I mean, it's at the end of the day, I don't really care. We could put them wherever we want because we're always right.
It is our podcast. We do what we want.
Exactly.
Diber Caicedo. History. Detailed. We're really good at this whole not waffling on thing.
I'm just gonna cut this part out.
13 appearances on the right. I'm sorry, on the left. 5 appearances on the right. So no.
Huh. Why did
That's not including
it come up-
substitute. That's not including substitute appearances. He was used as a sub a lot. So
I could have sworn they had DeJome on the right bunch too. I mean on the left. Unless I just got that mixed up.
I think you did. You're a very easily confused child.
No, I'm not. I'm looking it up right now.
But anyways, while you do that,
No, they had DeJome more on the right. What was I looking at? All right, well then let me take DeJome out and I will appease you and put Fafa Pico in there.
thank you. See, I
So
told you,
my
it's podcast. I'm always
my
right.
final list, since I made some changes: Fafa Pico, Franco Fragapane, Randall Leal, Marcelino Moreno, Daniel Shalvey.
Okay,
Go team.
go team. I'm rock on. Cool beans. Whatever. Moving to the right mid, right wing.
Yep.
So my honorable mentions: Jordan Morris, because he was injured all year. I don't know how he's coming back. He seems like he's doing all right, but again, how does he fit into that whole system? Samuel Grandsir, I like the way that he played in LA. I just think he needs a little bit more help about him. Red Bull Lewis Morgan, depending on if he plays out that way. I know they're looking to use him more as a striker, but if he plays out that way. And Red Bull Christian Caceres, because even though he's a center defensive mid, he played right wing and scored basically like a quarter of our goals this year. FC Dallas Paul Arriola is number 5. Christian Espinoza at 4, Yimi Chara at 3, Carlos Vela at 2, Johnny Russell at 1. Go.
I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and just say that you forgot that he played here. But I'm very disappointed to not even see Luis Araujo on your honorable mentions.
I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to pretend you didn't say that. And we're going to keep going.
Oh my goodness, you're insane.
Do you have stats to back up your claim, or are you just speaking like a?
Okay, I will pull up the stats then.
No. Give me your list, and I will pull up the stats.
Okay, my list is Yimi Char at 5, Christian Espinoza at 4, Luis Araujo at 3, Johnny Russell at 2, Carlos Vela at 1.
I don't like Carlos Vela over.
I think Vela's going to bounce back this season. The team seems strong. I think we'll see more of the regular Vela.
I don't like it. I think Johnny Russell with 23 goal contributions earned his spot at number 1.
I mean, yeah.
Versus the Carlos Vela who didn't make the playoffs.
In current season form, yeah, Russell had the better season obviously than Vela did, but I just expect Vela to bounce back again this year.
Really what I want to do is put Carlos Vela at 3 because Yimi Chara had a better year last year too. But I agree with what you said that he's going to bounce back and have a better year than Yimi Chara. But I don't think he's having a better year than Johnny Russell.
Well, agree to disagree.
So Arujo, really, I like the fact that he's got a really good dribble success rate. I think he's up. Hold on, my computer's bugging.
Yeah, just like you.
He's at 67% success rate, which puts him head above heels above everybody in the list, which is great. 4 goals, 3 assists, which puts him right around.
That's in a shortened season with him.
In a shortened season, no disagreements there. But it puts him Paul Arriola level. And passing percentage was the only other stat I looked at. 79%, which is pretty bang average across everybody else. I'm not saying he shouldn't be in there. I definitely did forget about him. I thought he was more of an attacking midfielder. He'd be my number 5.
He's got to be ahead of Paul Arriola.
Yeah. Paul Arriola drops and he would go 5.
He should be higher than 5, but
I might put him over Christian Espinoza too. But I don't put him over Yimi Chara.
Fair enough.
So I will put him in my honorable mentions because I'm not changing my list because I'm stubborn.
Yeah, I will make sure to let the Atlanta fans know who they should come after. Don't worry.
Those Atlanta fans don't even know what we're talking about. If it's not Josef Martinez, South American Player of the Year, Pity Martinez, Luis Arujo, if it's not any of those players, they don't know. Because they're not MLS fans. They're just, I want to go to a really fun game. But I'm not taking shots at fan bases today. No. That's like, we need 10 episodes before we start taking shots like that. Let's move into the strikers and wrap this thing up. I think we're doing all right on time.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first. And I'm going to break out the pen and take notes.
All right. We are absolutely going to differ on this one big time.
Yeah.
I will say
a disclaimer out there.
What?
Want to put a disclaimer out there that certain people are missing?
Yes. Disclaimer. I did not include Tati and I did not include Buxa, as I believe I read something where Buxa already made a verbal agreement to leave. I don't know with who, but I don't expect him to be here this season.
The Serie B team is dropping 10 mil for him.
That's insane.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't expect Tati to be back after this season. I think Tati's probably gone as well.
On a similar note, I did not put Buxa in, but I left Tati in because I don't know if that Palmeiras deal is getting over the line.
I will say off the bat, if Tati is here this season, he would be my number 1. I would put Tati at number 1.
And drop everybody 1. Okay, I will keep that note in my head.
All right, so again, this list is a bit more looking into how I think they're going to do this season. All right, I know for a fact they're going to complain with my number 1. All right, at 10,
Martinez.
At 10, I've got Unu for Minnesota. I know you've got beef with Minnesota right now, but he was good in the short period of time that he was here. I've got CJ Sapong at 9. Brian White at 8. Olo Kamara at 7.
Okay.
Chicha.
He's double.
I'm second now. I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna say Joseph at 6. I'm gonna say Chicharito at 5. And I'm thinking about moving him up 1 more too. But right now I have Damir Krylak at 4. I've got Gustavo Bo at 3. I've got Rui Diaz at 2. And then at 1, I've got Christian Aranjo. Go on, get your complaints out. Go ahead. I know.
Really, outside of that last one, I don't have complaints. Outside, so there, I do have complaints, but not nearly as many as I thought I would. So, honorable mentions: Zardes and Aranjo. I put Klamala on there as a joke, but Zardes and Aranjo, right? Who knew at 10? I got Ola Kamara at 9, Pen Merchant. Amir Krylak at 8, because I don't know if he's a striker or not. I just don't.
He plays literally all over the field.
Literally,
Totally up in the air.
I agree. If he was a pure striker and wasn't playing center mid half the time, I would put him higher.
I just think that's even a testament to the fact that he plays center mid half the time, and he still puts up the numbers.
I'll put him as a top 5 cam then. But if we're gonna say that he's a striker, he's not a top 5 striker.
He put up crazy numbers last season, playing all over.
What you know what we should do? We should go ahead and while we do this, Damir Krylak, history, detailed positions.
He plays all up and down the spine, like CDM, CM, cam, striker. Wouldn't surprise me if he played center back at some point.
He scored 8 goals at striker, which is great. And he scored 8 goals at center attacking mid. So literally half his goals came from both areas. So I'm gonna leave him at 8 because if you compare him to the other players in this list, just as when he was a striker, 8 goals puts him right around the number 8 mark. And if you take away Ola Kamara's penalties, that's right about where he belongs.
Okay.
Joseph at 7, Brian White at 6, and I'll explain why. CJ Sapong at 5, because I think he's going to have more support this year, and I think he's going to be given more chances to be successful. Chicharito at 4, Rui Diaz at 3, Gustavo Bo at 2, and Tati Castellanos at 1. But again, if there was all that swapped out, everybody moves up 1, and I'll put Aranjo at 10. I think so here's the deal.
Okay.
You are putting him in there with a new coach, basically an entire new, we talked about all in the last episode, we talked about their off season, how they made all these great changes. It's going to take time for them to get together and gel, right? It's going to take time for them to figure it out. So he's going to have time where he's not scoring, and that's going to hurt his confidence, and scoring is all about confidence. Ask Josh Sargent. Man scored a back heel to break his 2-year goal scoring drought. And now he's about to go off and score 15 in the Prem in the last 7 weeks.
I think you're putting too much emphasis on thinking that Aranjo is going to have like a slow start to the season. I mean, he came into the league.
A bunch of stuff like that too.
He came into the league into an LAFC situation that was completely falling apart at that point, and it took him no time to get started.
Look at Bob Bradley's track record with good strikers, though, or good attacking players. He knows how to make them work. Steve Cherundolo's a center back, dude. He may not be able to do it.
He may not need to. I just think Aranjo is good enough. All right, I will be willing to move him down.
I will end it on this. 2018 Jesse Marsh Red Bull were good enough to do everything. And then Chris Armas happened, and we barely got across. Coaches matter. Period. Thank you.
I think there's enough talent on this field that I think Aranjo can succeed very well. I mean, I'm looking at his stuff right now. In terms of players who played 15 or more games in the season, there was only one player in the entire league who had a higher rating than Aranjo, and that was Heel on Who Scored. He was just so good when he came in, and he had a shortened season, which is the only reason why his numbers aren't at the top of the league. I mean, he was as good as Chicharito was before Chicharito got hurt. He played 15 games, made 2 sub appearances, and had 14 goals and 2 assists. He had a goal per every 100 minutes.
Listen, I'm not saying he didn't play well, but coaches matter.
I feel like you're putting too much into this. Like, oh, I already expect Cherundolo to fail. We don't know. He could be good.
Absolutely do. You don't hit on good coaches back to back. Red Bull proved it. Nobody else is allowed to do it. It's just, it wouldn't be fair.
I am willing, because I'm definitely probably too high on him. I am willing to drop him to third, and I will move Bo and Ruiz up. Is that more reasonable in your mind?
That's fine. The other thing I'd like to note, he's got a 22% goal conversion rate, which is lower than Chicharito, Brian White, Josef Martinez, Ola Kamara at penalties, equal to Mark Krylak, and one above CJ Sapong. So really,
but he's also above Tati Castellanos, Gustavo Bo, Raul Ruiz.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if we are looking at just goal conversion rates based off of what they're about to do, he will be on par with CJ Sapong's 11 goals.
That's
Bang average. I'm just saying. If we go with the numbers, just saying. But you got anything else? You want to yell about anything else?
Let me see if I had my honorable mentions. I had Brenner in there. I think Brenner could have a better season this year.
Sneaky.
Casper Shabilko and Felipe Mora on honorable mentions.
I'm interested to see what Casper does in Chicago for sure. But okay.
Oh, and I also obviously had the GOAT, Giassi Zardes.
Oh yeah, of course you can.
He'd be number 0 if I could make it.
He is a 0, that's for sure. Thanks everybody for listening. We hope you enjoyed. Let us know your thoughts in the comments of wherever you're listening this to, whether it be clips, whether it be on the podcast. Go comment on our posts, do whatever you want. We want to interact with you. We have some fun. Make sure you're following us wherever you get your podcast so you know when this goes live. Take a look out for our stream schedule. And remember, we are 2 nights a week for the season. We're going to try and keep to that schedule best we can. Call out Connor if we don't, because he's going to be the reason we don't do it.
This guy.
Make sure you're following us on all forms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Clips are coming. We're going to be with the hour-long sessions. It's easier to clip them up. So hopefully we stay strong on those this year. But other than that, I got nothing else. So we will see you next time on the next episode of the Designated Players Podcast. See ya.